So you've got the client down to the close. You present the three options that you want to sell them on, and you push the paper over with the price and the coverage. The client looks at the pricing, sits back, and asks you for a calculator. So in this video, I'm going to describe what this is all about, the so-called calculator objection, and try to show you what I do in order to potentially stop this objection from taking a foothold. And that's coming up right after this. Hey out there, it's Dave Duford at Final Expense Agent Mentor at feagentmentor.com. Thanks so much for watching again. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing the so-called calculator objection. How to handle a client that likes to do the math behind the coverage that we get them. So let me set the situation up a little bit further. Many of the people we sell to are just not mathematically inclined. They buy something if it makes sense and if it hits their emotions right and can fit their budget. That's about the extent of their mathematical ability. Is that something that sounds like it makes sense financially? Well, there's a small percentage of the population that has more of an accounting or logical type of setup when they buy insurance. More likely than not, you see this with men, making no particular claims or criticisms of women. My experience with this particular objection has always been with men. And what happens is you present the pricing and you show them what they have, and then they prepare to take a calculator out and add up how much money they're going to pay in until they reach the face amount. And what this does is deduces this into a logical type of purchase. They look at the premium, they divide it into the face amount, and then they realize that they'll pay more than the face amount inside of 15 years. And many times they get upset that they would even consider doing so and claim it's a ripoff. So how do you prevent this kind of objection from occurring? So first of all, you have to have somebody who also is logical enough to understand that they have no idea or estimate of when they're going to die. And they've really got to believe that as much as you saying it. And the reason being is that all of us think we're going to live forever. We're going to live a long time. Even people in their 70s are going to look at one of these quotes and think, geez, man, I'm in good shape. I don't have any major illnesses. You know, and they're saying I'm going to pay into this 12, 13 years, and more so than when I paid in, I'll just put it in the bank. That's kind of what they're thinking is they could do instead. The reality is that what they're assuming is, the underlying assumption is they know they're going to outlive it, and they don't. And so what this comes down to is, what if they don't get it? What's the consequences of not getting it to their family? Will they come out of pocket for this particular bill? What happens if he doesn't have the money to actually do the job if he's so stubborn to think that this is some sort of rip-off on the deal? And so when I sit down with one of these prospects and they start doing this, I say, look, you don't know when you're going to die, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't know when you're going to die. And you could very well die 1 month into this. And all that money you think you could have saved up into the bank is going to just amount to 50 bucks. And the truth is, if this is something you're serious about, no offense by this, because I'm in the same boat, if this is something you're serious about, you would have saved up for this 20 years ago. The bottom line is that this plan is a good deal if you really understand and truly believe that your death is something out of your hands and out of your control. And yeah, you may pay more into it if you're lucky to live a long life, which is a much better outcome than not taking this and dying a month into it. So the point is very simple and clear, Mr. Jones, is that if you love your family and you can see the value and reality of your life, and it may not be here tomorrow or when you expect, and if you don't take this and you do die early, you end up not having the money and your family has to go into debt. If you don't want that to happen, this plan makes sense for you. If you don't care, or if you've got money or insurance elsewhere, that's fine. Tell me that you do. But if this is something that if you don't get, that your family's in trouble with, then you need to take care of this now. What's your thoughts on that, Mr. Jones? So this is an objection rebuttal right off the top of my head. It's something that, you know, you want to get to the crux of. Really is that this is not a normal buying decision. and the behavior they think they're going to somehow come up with at 7 years old, it's different than anything they've experienced in the prior 7 years of saving money, is not going to happen. And let's just be honest with it. Things happen, stuff pops up. This forces you to keep something on the books. And it's good for you in that regard. Yeah, there is a downside, but the upside's much bigger if this is what you really truly feel. This is an exemplary of how I handle objections. I'm not the kind of person that is pushy or assumptive. I try to use reason in the rebuttal, and I'll even grant them that they may be right, but there's still some definite realities that they have to consider elsewise, and they have to balance both out, and only they can come up with a decision conceptually that this is a good idea or not. And that's what comes down to, is I've noticed that the people ultimately with the calculator objection are just not really that interested. They're not buyers. They're looky-loos. They look at this and they kind of think, yeah, but I'm not going to go, or I'm broke, I don't want to spend that much money for something I can't have fun with. And they're just kind of the kind of person that pushes that kind of stuff off. And so don't lose a lot of sleep if you don't get the guy. Just get right to the, get him right in the gut. And it's just tell him, look, if you're serious and you understand how life really is, this is something you'll get if you love your family. If you don't care, that's fine too. What's it going to be? They'll tell you straight up what they think. And if they don't like it, leave. Find a real prospect. And the truth is, many times that the calculator objection pops up, they weren't really properly vetted. We didn't really do a good job of pre-qualifying, because we could have identified that stuff earlier on if they could afford it or if they couldn't. And either way, that's the best way to handle a calculator objection. So my name is Dave Duford at Final Expense Agent Mentor. FEAgentmentor.com is my website. If you haven't joined already, go click up here at the top of the screen to join my No BS Final Expense newsletter. Within that newsletter, you're going to get all sorts of free training material just for joining, sales calls, prospecting calls, and several scripts just for free. Thanks again so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.